So the time has now run out and the DOJ will have to give an answer on what they plan to do with the nationwide vacatur and block of the ATF's pistol brace / SBR rule. So let's talk about what is happening. Now, really quick before you jump into this video, if you want to support the channel for free, please consider subscribing. Also click on the notification bell and turn on all notifications because that helps to ensure that YouTube will actually send you these videos. And then also just drop a positive comment down below because that helps to ensure that YouTube will actually send you these videos and share other types of 2A content and other videos to you as well. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, we have some important news in the battle against the ATF and their current restrictions on all brace pistols as SBRs. Currently, there is a nationwide vacatur on the pistol brace rule and multiple preliminary injunctions which are currently protecting various 2A organizations and their memberships. However, now with the new Trump administration in power in the recent Trump executive order on the Second Amendment, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decided to hold the Mock v. Garland case temporarily and give the Trump administration and AG Bondi the opportunity to come up with a game plan and make up their minds about what they want to do with SBRs and potentially their application of this pistol brace rule to treat these types of brace pistols as SBRs. This mock lawsuit is the challenge that is currently blocking the pistol brace rule nationwide. The Fifth Circuit granted a 30-day abeyance, but that is automatically going to dissolve on Monday, April 14th. That means that the AG's office will now need to provide an answer to the Fifth Circuit on what they have decided to do in this case, but also what is their general game plan and how are they going to generally address the whole pistol brace issue. The AG's office has stated that they will either take action in this case or provide the court with a status update on what they intend to do on this issue of pistol braces. With the new task force that has been put together by the AG's office, and that is in alignment with the Trump executive order to protect Second Amendment rights, a lot is up in the air right now, especially lawsuits like this one dealing with pistol braces. Now, you may recall that the ATF recently suffered multiple losses in a variety of pistol brace cases. Not only did you have multiple preliminary injunctions granted against the ATF and against this pistol brace rule, but recently you had Judge O'Connor issue a final merit decision in the mock lawsuit, and essentially he struck down the rule completely on the final merits, and that is the nationwide vacatur of the rule that is currently protecting braced pistols. In his decision, Judge O'Connor stated that at the conclusion of the majority's careful analysis, they held that the final rule is properly characterized as a legislative rule, and it is relatively straightforward that the final rule was not a logical outgrowth of the proposed rule, and therefore the final rule must be set aside as unlawful or otherwise remanded for appropriate remediation. Now, that decision was a huge win because it was a final merits decision from the lower court judge that struck down the pistol brace rule entirely with a nationwide vacatur, and he found that the rule there put in place by the Biden administration and his ATF, that it violated the APA. In response to that new decision, the ATF, then the Biden administration, appealed to the Fifth Circuit. Currently, all the briefs have been submitted to the Fifth Circuit in the mock case, and we're waiting for oral arguments to take place. There was also some interesting developments recently where at the end of the Biden administration, the ATF there had notified one of the members of GOA that the ATF still believed that they could apply the pistol brace rule and treat braced pistols, pistol braces and those types of configurations as SBRs purely under the statutory text. But a lot of that has changed with the Trump administration now in power, and the Fifth Circuit has essentially put the case on hold temporarily, but only for 30 days. There was a notice from the AG's office to the Fifth Circuit stating that following a change in administration on February 7th, 2025, President Trump issued an executive order titled Protecting Second Amendment Rights. Among other things, the order directs the Attorney General to examine various actions of executive departments and agencies to assess any ongoing infringements on the Second Amendment rights of our citizens and present a proposed plan of action to the President through the Domestic Policy Advisory to protect the Second Amendment rights of all Americans. And the order specifically directs the Attorney General, as part of that process, to review all rules promulgated by the Department of Justice, including the ATF, from January 2021 through January 2025 pertaining to firearms and/or federal firearms licenses. In light of that development, the government respectfully moves this court to hold this case in abeyance for 60 days pending review of the challenged rule. The abeyance will conserve party and judicial resources and promote the efficient and orderly disposition of this appeal, including by ensuring that the litigation is focused on the enduring agency action and informed by the views of the current agency leadership. The government respectfully proposes that at the end of the 60-day abeyance period, the parties can provide the court with a status report regarding the future steps in the case. Now, through that notice, the Trump administration identified that it's likely going to change its position on pistol braces, and it's likely to be drastically different from what the Biden administration had put in place. The Fifth Circuit responded by granting the request for a 30-day extension of abeyance. I believe they were asking for 60, but the Fifth Circuit here only gave them 30 days. And they ordered essentially that the appeal would be obeyed until April 14th, 2025, at which point the abeyance shall automatically dissolve and appellants are permitted to file a status report as stated in their motion. So the Trump administration took a temporary delay in this case to decide what their position will be going forward when it comes to pistol braces. But now that time has run out and the abeyance will automatically dissolve on Monday. That means that the case will proceed forward, and in one way or the other, the AG's office will be forced to take a stand on braced pistols. They are going to have to be required to, at the very least, provide a status update to the Fifth Circuit on what their position is and what they plan to do in this case going forward. Recently, we saw some news, and there have been multiple statements from the AG's office through the chief of staff that they have been changing positions in cases like the Peterson suppressor challenge and some of these other cases as well. Her office has even now stated that they will be investigating localities in states like California for their delays in issuing CCW permits as well. So the DOJ and the AG's office has stated that they're going to be active on the issue of the Second Amendment. Now, those are all good signs, but of course, that's not a guarantee that they will proceed forward in the pistol brace case in a way that we want. We also saw recently that the AG's office has now established the Second Amendment Task Force to focus on two-way strategies and develop plans for cases like this one here dealing with pistol braces. There's also been some shakeup in the ATF itself. We know that Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, was also acting as the head of the ATF. He was the acting director of the ATF as well. But now that has changed. There's a new acting director as well, and some other high-ranking officials in the ATF who prior worked for the Biden administration. They've been let go as well. So there's a lot changing within the ATF as well. Now, I anticipate that if AG Bondi still has not decided what she wants to do with pistol braces, her office will likely notify the Fifth Circuit that the new task force has been compiled, that there have been changes within the ATF, and potentially they could try to get another delay in this case, try to stall the case out, do some more stall tactics. But I personally would not be happy with that, because at this point, her office has had multiple months to consider this case. This is a high-profile case, and it's time for them to finally address this issue and take action on getting rid of the Biden administration's pistol brace rule. Now, one important thing to note with all of this is even though there's currently an abeyance and that's set to end this Monday, and then the status report potentially will be given to the Fifth Circuit, while all this is going on, the nationwide vacatur issued by Judge O'Connor is still in place. It remains in place until the Fifth Circuit rules on this case, or until at least the Trump administration decides to take action on this rule. Of course, if the Trump administration decides to proceed forward in the pistol brace case and defend the pistol brace rule, that would tell us everything we need to know about how this current administration really feels about the Second Amendment. So the pistol brace rule was temporarily held, but now that timeline and that clock is ending, and we're going to get an answer from the Trump administration on what they want to do about pistol braces. So as we get more information, as they release that information, I will let you guys know. If you like this video and you would like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm, and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. But as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.